Tonight on CTV News at 6. Frustration is growing.
We felt like the child under the staircase.
The town of Parry Sound wants out of the Near North District School Board. Frustrating anniversary.
I cry every single day. There's nothing to look forward to.
Tenants in this Sudbury apartment building haven't had a working elevator in a year. And after the Integrity Commissioner's report into a Sioux City Councillor's post,
professional, respectful online conduct should be a given, but the lack of clarity has created confusion, and unfortunately, we've seen examples where clear guidelines could have prevented the issues.
City Council is asking staff to come back with a social media policy.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday, November 25th. A pedestrian was killed in a collision yesterday afternoon in Kapuskasing. Provincial police say the incident closed Riverside Drive and McPherson Avenue for 10 hours as officers conducted their investigation. The collision involved a 78-year-old pedestrian and a pickup truck. The individual was taken to hospital with serious life-threatening injuries and later died in hospital. OPP are asking anyone with information or dash cam footage to come forward. Meanwhile, in Blind River, OPP have charged a man after a fatal collision on Highway 17. The collision between a commercial vehicle and a cyclist happened yesterday around 5 p.m. on Causley Street. The cyclist was pronounced dead at the scene while the commercial vehicle failed to stop. Police found the driver in Algoma Mills a short time later, where he was arrested and his vehicle was towed. A 63-year-old man from Plummer Additional Township has been charged. Police are still looking for witnesses or video evidence of the collision. A man has been charged after the heavy police presence on Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie yesterday. Police received a report of gunfire in the 400 block of Pym Street just before 10 a.m. While the report was unfounded, police did investigate, finding brass knuckles and a small amount of fentanyl. A 36-year-old man faces 3 weapons charges and a possession charge. Police in North Bay seized $58,000 in cash and drugs in a trafficking investigation. A 43-year-old North Bay man faces 11 drug trafficking and weapons-related charges after a lengthy investigation. A search warrant was executed on Fisher Street last week after the man's arrest, where police seized a 12-gauge shotgun, more than $13,000 in cash, and $45,000 in cocaine, fentanyl, and oxycodone. 2 teens from the Greater Toronto area are among the 4 arrested following a drug bust in Sagamok early Friday morning. The investigation into a home on the First Nation began in October. As a result of search warrants, Anishinaabeg police say they seized fentanyl, 3 cell phones, more than $10,000 in cash, and 1 expandable baton. A 39-year-old Sagamok man was arrested and also rushed to hospital over suspected opioid consumption. Police in Sault Ste. Marie recently took part in an initiative about safety in the downtown. Police and bylaw officers conducted an integrated municipal enforcement team, or IMET, operation. Police were on hand for security measures as bylaw officials ensured the buildings had proper locks and sealed windows. 40 vacant properties with prior bylaw violations were inspected, with 5 of the boarded up properties needing to be resecured to prevent unlawful entry.
Our members did have to go into a couple of the residents to ensure that nobody was inside, to make sure bylaw could do what they needed to do. Nobody was located, nobody was displaced during this initiative. Again, it's really just to make sure that vacant properties are secured or they are adhering to previous bylaw conditions that our local bylaw officers.
We've seen that in the past. People living in boarded up buildings oftentimes creates a risk to that property, to the people living in there, and to the neighboring properties. So good to see that bylaw and police are working together to make sure that boarded up buildings remain inaccessible and remain vacant.
The Integrated Municipal Enforcement Team was established in 2020 and has done a number of these operations, with this being one of the largest to date. Council has directed city staff in Sault Ste. Marie to create a social media policy. It comes on the heels of an Integrity Commissioner's report that found Councillor Angela Caputo did not violate sections of the Code of Conduct while making comments about Charlie Kirk. Caputo made references to the controversial Conservative on social media, writing Charlie Cook would have condoned what happened to Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk was not afraid to say that. Stop making it seem otherwise. 4 citizens made complaints to the Integrity Commissioner, one of them saying her comments amounted to hate speech and racism. While the Integrity Commissioner cleared her, 2 councillors who introduced the motion say a policy is needed.
A social media policy shouldn't be something we need to debate in 2025. Professional, respectful online conduct should be a given. But the lack of clarity has created confusion, and unfortunately, we've seen examples where clear guidelines could have prevented the issues.
I think we wasted 15 minutes of our time tonight, and I think this social media policy is required, and hopefully we can introduce it very, very quickly.
And the vote was unanimous. Staff will now have to report back to council. Turning now to the weather, and wintry conditions are going to be upon us. Which communities are going to get the brunt of the storm? For that answer, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman.
More to the north here in the northeast. It's going to be anywhere from 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. According to Environment Canada, Tony, it's a winter storm warning right now. These are the areas that are going to be affected right now with all kinds of snow. We'll take a look at our systems map right now as the system moves in. And again, like I said, we'll have more snow to the north and more rain to the south. We'll take a look at some of those numbers. It'll be either a snowy day or a wet day tomorrow, depending on where you live in northeastern Ontario. Some details coming up, including our current conditions and our pick of the day. Tony?
Thanks so much for that, Rick. Northern College's Haileybury School of Mines is the recipient of a generous donation. It received more than $91,000 in critical automation and control engineering equipment from Endress and Hauser, based out of Sweden. The donation will provide students with hands-on experience on key pieces of advanced industry standard equipment. The school says with the projected demand for automation and control engineering professionals, the money will curb the shortage of skilled workers. Plenty of frustration still to come on CTV News at 6. Parry Sound Town Council and the area MPP are fed up with the Near North District School Board. But first, let's go to downtown Timmins. This live webcam is courtesy of the city. Overcast, but no snow just yet. However, it is coming.
Ready to run with the pack? The Sudbury Wolves take on the Sarnia Sting Friday, December the 5th, and you could be in the stands. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to cheer on your favorite team. So, what are you waiting for? Enter now at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca and get ready to howl.
Town officials and 2 Northern MPPs are calling on the Minister of Education to take over the Near North District School Board. It's after months of complaints and concerns over mismanagement. CTV's Eric Tashner has the latest.
That's carried.
Parry Sound Council is sending a message to Education Minister Paul Calandra. It wants out of the beleaguered Near North District School Board.
I would have to go back to almost day one. The province decided to put Parry Sound District in with the North Bay area. Pretty much we felt like the child under the staircase.
Council would like Calandra to reinstate the former West Parry Sound District School Board as a first option, giving the region a more local representation. The second option would be to join another school board like Simcoe's or Muskoka's.
We don't feel we're being listened to. We contribute a lot of money through taxation into that school board. Between residential and commercial and industrial, it's over 20 million.
A scorching ministry review found a fractured relationship between school board administration and trustees, an absence of leadership from Director of Education Craig Miles, and the actions of some trustees contributed to long delays in building the new mega school in Parry Sound.
This has just come to a head, and I don't think you could find a person right now that is anywhere near happy.
Among the binding recommendations in the review was for the board to meet with the community in person to discuss the delayed construction within 10 days. The board scheduled that meeting, but then canceled, holding its own reorganizational meeting, resulting in a failure to comply. That compounded with the passing of Bill 33 last week, have Parry Sound Muskoka MPP Graydon Smith and Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli calling on Calandra to take action by appointing a supervisor to take charge. Its continued inability to follow directives from the Ministry of Education, along with its lack of effort to address the legitimate concerns of parents and students in Parry Sound, is deeply troubling. Newly elected board chair Jay Aspin responded in a brief statement, saying, "Our board is keenly focused on implementing Minister Calandra's binding directions and are now completing arrangements to present an in-person update to the Parry Sound Council next week." McGarvey is eagerly awaiting that meeting and hopes the board will be all ears.
We are serious. We need to be listened to.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
And that public meeting has now been set for December 4th at 7 p.m. at Parry Sound Council Chambers. At Queen's Park, the Ford government was focused on its newest legislation today, tabling the Justice Bill. It includes tougher penalties for dangerous drivers, tighter bail rules, and a plan to make some information from the province's sex offender registry public. CTV's Siobhan Morris has that story.
Every day is a nightmare.
The pain is still raw for Andrew Cristillo's younger brother, the father of 3 killed in a head-on crash this summer. The driver of the other vehicle was already on police radar for having hit the Premier's SUV back in January. A family's loss exposed a gap in the law.
The individual going over 200 kilometers an hour when he hit Ford was back behind the wheel within 30 days. Had that not been the case, maybe my brother would be here today.
A gap the government's trying to close, making good on a promise to the Cristillo family.
Including a 90-day license suspension and a 7-day vehicle impoundment when police have reasons to believe someone was driving dangerously.
Today, we're done gambling, and we're going to start seeing some real consequences.
The government's considering forcing impaired drivers who kill parents to pay child support, increasing fines for careless driving, and a lifetime ban for those convicted of dangerous driving causing death.
It's a bit rich coming from a government who just removed the ability of municipalities to have speed cameras in place, which all the evidence shows has been the most effective policy at reducing speeds on our streets and helping save lives.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Ontario NDP leader Mart Stiles has asked the province's Integrity Commissioner to investigate the Labour Minister over the Skills Development Fund.
It looks like the minister will not come clean. I have been asking him questions every day for now almost 6 weeks since the legislature came back, and he refuses to answer. In fact, he's kind of throwing around all kinds of excuses. He's blaming everybody and not taking any responsibility. And we will get answers. We will get answers one way or another.
Stiles alleges Labour Minister David Piccini breached ethics laws in connection with the distribution of money from the multi-billion-dollar fund. She claims preferential treatment has been given to some recipients. Piccini has faced calls to resign after Ontario's Auditor General found his office was selecting lower-scoring applicants for funding against the advice of other officials. A spokesperson for Piccini says he will fully participate in any process initiated by the Integrity Commissioner. Meanwhile, Northern NDP MPPs are urging the Ontario government to fully implement all 79 recommendations from a recent coroner's inquest into the Constance Lake blastomycosis deaths from 4 years ago. In 2021, a blastomycosis outbreak in Constance Lake First Nation near Hearst claimed the lives of 5 people and infected 50 other community members. The NDP says while the deaths were classified as natural, jurors agreed that action is required to tackle environmental contamination.
It's about funding that the First Nation will need to clean up some of these sites, and we need to work all together to hopefully that we can reduce the risk, because really that we don't really know where it comes from. But if these recommendations, these spots that were not named are identified as a potential risk, then we should seriously try to remove them.
The NDP also says this highlights the need to address systemic barriers to equitable Indigenous health. Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Tony, forecast radar for tomorrow. Lots of snow heading to the Timmins area, of course, anywhere from 30 to 60 centimeters. Winter storm warning, according to Environment Canada. This is how it's going to play out. Lots of snow in the north, lots of rain in the south, and that all comes to an end on Thursday. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, our 7-day forecast. Meanwhile, our current temperatures, a bit of a variation. Moose City -3, cloud cover. Cochrane -4. We do have some precipitation in the northeast. -4 in Timmins, -3 in Kapuskasing. Some snow flurries there. Some snow flurries in Chapleau, -5. Wawa, we've got some rain, drizzle, -3. Some fog in Sault Ste. Marie. Parry Sound this hour, we've got precipitation in the form of rain at 8 degrees, a balmy 8. North Bay, -1. Temiskaming Shores, 0. And Kirkland Lake also with the rain this hour. As we continue, Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt, 2 degrees. Espanola, some rain at 4. Elliott Lake, 3. Cloud cover there and fog on Manitoulin Island, Gore Bay, 5 degrees. 7-day forecast, Tony, coming up.
Thanks for that, Rick. He said he made a mistake. Next on CTV News at 6. Prime Minister Carney says his response to a question about Trump was a poor choice of words. And Ukraine agrees to a peace proposal, but how does Russia feel about it? Who cares? That was how Mark Carney responded to a reporter's question recently about whether he had spoken to President Trump. The comment is being criticized by some as Canada-U.S. trade talks broke down last month after Ontario ran a TV ad in the States criticizing Trump's policies. Since then, reporters have been pushing the Prime Minister on what is happening with the trade war.
Who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail. I spoke to him. I'll speak to him again when it matters. I look forward to speaking to the president soon, but I don't have a burning issue to speak with the president about right now. When America wants to come back and have the discussions on the trade side, we will have those discussions.
The Prime Minister says, who cares? All of us on this side of the House care about the communities that are being emptied out in our forestry, the steel workers in Hamilton who don't have jobs to pay their mortgages. We care about those people. Why doesn't he?
The Minister of Canada-U.S. Relations, Dominic LeBlanc, responded by saying the government will continue to negotiate a deal with the United States.
I made a promise to Canadians. When I make a mistake, I'll admit it. That was a poor choice of words.
During question period this afternoon, Carney walked back his comments, calling his previous statement a poor choice of words. A federal government source says Carney could head to the United States as early as next week. In Washington, the White House is projecting optimism on a possible peace deal to end the war in Ukraine. But as the talks go on, so does the fighting. With more, here's CTV's Joy Melvin.
Even with peace proposals on the table, Moscow is not letting up. Overnight, hundreds of drones and missiles pounded Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. A massive, deadly attack. Officials rescuing children from an apartment complex. This after talks in Geneva produced a framework for a possible peace deal.
Today, our team reported on the new draft of steps, and this is indeed the right approach. I will discuss sensitive issues with President Trump.
Ukraine's president wants to meet President Donald Trump in the next few days to finalize details of a new 19-point plan, heavily modified from the original proposal that critics called a Russian wish list that had Ukraine handing over territory to Russia, slashing Ukraine's army, and renouncing NATO membership.
We have no compromise on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. No compromise on national identity on Ukraine. No compromise on the armed forces of Ukraine as a key security guarantee.
Washington insists these aren't insurmountable details, sending U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll to meet with Russian officials in the United Arab Emirates. But even after that red carpet rollout in Anchorage last summer, Russia's Vladimir Putin has not budged.
President Trump was not able to get anything from Russia. He was not even able to get them to come to a ceasefire, something that Ukraine agreed a while ago. And so while these negotiations happen, Russia continues attacking us.
Donald Trump weighing in, saying tremendous progress has been made, but says he'll only meet with President Zelensky and President Putin when the deal to end this war is final or in its final stages. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Though there is a lot on President Donald Trump's plate, 2 turkeys won't be. The U.S. president taking time today to serve up a Thanksgiving pardon.
Gobble, I just want to tell you this very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
Turkeys Gobble and Waddle were saved today. Gobble appeared before crowds while Waddle stole the show at the White House press briefing room. It's part of an annual humorous tradition granting the birds clemency before American Thanksgiving on Thursday. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your stormy weather forecast with Rick.
Oh, it is stormy weather. Environment Canada calling for, well, a winter storm warning for the Northeast, in particular, Timmins, Iroquois Falls, Cochrane, Hearst, and Moonbeam. Can't forget Moonbeam. Lots of snow coming up. 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. The snow, here it is by about tomorrow afternoon, hovering over a lot of areas. And again, we've got rain to the south for tomorrow. It's going to be a messy day regardless. And just a word of caution, take it easy on the roads tomorrow if you have to go out. Let's take a look and see what's happening with some of our conditions overnight. Drizzle, rain in Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, rain 5 to 10 millimeters, snow 2 to 4 centimeters. That's the start in Timmins. Temiskaming Shores, rain 5 millimeters and showers in North Bay as well. Let's move on over to Moosonee. Chance of flurries, a -7. Chance of flurries in Caphurst. Snow in Wawa, 5 to 10 centimeters there. Chance of showers, Gore Bay and Perry Sound with shower activity. Now the numbers, Sudbury Nickel Belt, rain tomorrow, 5 to 10 millimeters. Snow on Thursday. Chance of flurries on Friday. Cloud cover Saturday. And again, chance of flurries on Sunday. Monday, some sun and cloud. Moving on over to Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Rain 10 millimeters and snow to follow by tomorrow evening. Thursday, flurries and squalls. Who knows how much, considering the winds blowing off the lake. Friday, we've got the chance of flurries. More of the same Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Your normal is 1. The temperatures will be all over the map. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Snow tomorrow, 10 to 20 centimeters. Another 15 by tomorrow evening. -1 your high. Periods of snow on Thursday. Then the storm will come to an end. Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, some cloud cover. Sunday, chance of flurries. And Monday, some sun and cloud. But take a look at those evening temperatures. -15, -16, -18, and -21. Hello. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, rain tomorrow, 5 to 10 millimeters. Periods of snow on Thursday, chance of flurries on Friday. Cloud cover Saturday, Sunday chance of flurries, and Monday we've got sun and cloud with a daytime high of -9, but some cool nights, very cold nights of -12, -14, and -15 next week. North Bay, West Nipissing, rain tomorrow, 5 to 10 millimeters at 5 degrees. Snow on Thursday, -2. Chance of flurries Friday. Cloud cover Saturday. Sunday, chance of flurries. Monday, some sun and cloud at -7. And Tuesday, of course, mainly cloudy, some sunny breaks. But again, some colder nights in the offing. -11, -8, -9, and -11 once again. Let's have a look now at our pick of the day. I love it. Someone's got to eat before all that snow. Wendy Lynn Hill, great pick there from Whitefish Island, Sault Ste. Marie. Good for you, Wendy. I've tried doing that in the backyard. I just can't seem to get chipmunks, squirrels, or anyone else to eat out of my hand. It must be my disposition. Dogs love me, but not some of the vermin that hang around the property. Hey, stick around. Tony's got more news coming up after the break. Tammy Gould is back for tonight's Ask an Expert segment on independent living and self-managing, and has all the answers as the Direct Funding Program Coordinator. Welcome back, Tammy.
Thank you. It's
Tammy,
nice to be back.
Yes, it's great to have you back. What type of supports are available for self-managers with administrative duties, which can be complex at times.
It can be. Myself as a direct funding coordinator, I can help out with certain things relating to bookkeeping. We do ask that the self-manager, talk to their bookkeeper, but if they can't answer that, they can always come back to our center and we can provide that extra help for them. For instance, we do suggest that a person set up an area in their home where they have a first aid kit, and then of course the WSIB posters.
What are some of the biggest adjustments that clients experience when they first initiate managing their own services?
It's being overwhelmed with so much to do and so much to learn. Now, we go through this through the period of the study materials and getting them prepped for their interview, but it's still a lot to take on as an employer. So again, the centers are there available to assist them in any way they need. Starting out with even creating a filing system or getting themselves set up with making sure that they have the proper bank account set up, that sort of nature. So we're always here.
Okay, now if a self-manager is traveling, can they bring an attendant, and how do they go about arranging it?
Absolutely. The attendants are allowed to travel 3 weeks out of a calendar year, so that's 21 days. They should notify their center in advance, possibly a month, to let us know what dates that they're going to be unavailable. And the self-managers can pay for their attendance flight, hotel, and their meals, etc. Direct funding only covers the attendance services, so same as if you were living at home.
What types of insurance does a self-manager need to have when employing attendants?
So we do ask them, it is part of the requirement, that their personal liability insurance, either on their home ownership policy or their tenant insurance policy.
Tammy, thanks for doing this once again. Tammy Gould is with the Resource Center for Independent Living in Parry Sound. And if people want more information, how do they go about getting it?
They can check out our newly created website at www.rcil.ca. And of course, you can contact me by email at tgould, that's Gould, at rcil.ca.
For more information on tonight's segment and past Ask an Expert segments, please visit CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca.
Thanks for that, Rick. A frustrating anniversary today for tenants at an apartment building in Sudbury. It's been 1 year since the 5-floor building had a working elevator. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
I cry every single day. There's nothing to look forward to.
Over the last year, Shirley Fortin has only left her apartment twice. It's officially been that long since 285 Lord Street has had a working elevator after it was shut down for repairs in November 2024.
I've been so depressed, not being able to go outside and enjoy myself or to get out of here. The company can't come because most of my friends are elderly, so they can't come up the stairs. So basically, I've been living alone and on the phone every single day trying to find a solution to the problem that we have here, or to be accommodated, because management hasn't accommodated us whatsoever.
Fortin and many tenants in the building are either elderly or have a disability, making the daily climb up and down 5 flights of stairs impossible.
A lot of us are disabled, and a lot of us are unfortunately on assistance, but we're still having to pay for things like I get my groceries delivered through Instacart, for example, and that's an extra monthly fee. I get my laundry done because I can't bring it down 5 flights of stairs. People who are on assistance shouldn't be having to pay these extra fees just to get stuff done, just to be able to live with dignity.
The building is owned by Centerville Nonprofit Housing, who did not respond to our request for an interview, but it is run by Luxor Property Management. Gustafson says communication from management has been inconsistent.
We're being told, like, we don't deserve information. And we're told that, oh, we'll give you an update when we have information, but then we go months without hearing anything. So it's really frustrating.
While the property manager at Luxor declined our request for an interview, they say the elevator service company is collaborating with the TSSA in the hopes of restoring service by the end of this month. But for residents, that deadline is little comfort, believing this repair has already taken far too long. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
And the Technical Standards and Safety Authority said in a written statement it inspected the elevator in September of this year and identified several safety issues to be addressed by the elevator contractor. Once the repairs are completed, the contractor is required to book a follow-up inspection with TSSA, adding the authority has not yet been contacted by the contractor and that the elevator will remain out of service until the Safety Authority can confirm the repairs have been made. As the holiday season approaches, kitchens across the country will heat up with family feasts and baking sessions. This week is National Home Fire Safety Week, and the Canada Safety Council is taking the opportunity to remind Canadians that the most common cause of home fires isn't candles or Christmas trees, it's unattended cooking. Officials with fire services in the Sioux say Fire Prevention Week is hosted annually in October, but that safety is something they focus on year-round.
The biggest thing is just keep safety in mind. So keep kids and pets out of the kitchen while you're cooking. Try and keep a 3-foot perimeter around the stove. Make sure you're staying in the kitchen. I know you can get distracted by guests and people wanting your attention, but your attention has to be on the cooking. Making sure that you have timers set and that you are have the proper things ready just in case something happens. Whether you have your lid handy. Even having a fire extinguisher readily available is also a good practice to do too.
According to Stats Canada, almost a third of fires from 2015 to 2021 were related to cooking. During that time period, it was the leading cause of fire incidents and injuries at 32% and 43%, respectively. Hydro One is hosting community open houses to update residents on the proposed Northeast Power Line project. The project is between the Hanmer Transformer Station in Greater Sudbury and the Mississauga Station near Warncliffe, northeast of Thessalon. In the summer, Hydro One hosted similar open houses in the Sioux for North Shore Link that will run from Warncliffe to Sault Ste. Marie. There will be 2 open houses tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Elliott Lake and Warncliffe. Thursday, the service provider will host one in Hanmer from 3 p.m. until 7.
The in-service date for this project is December of 2029. We would likely take a couple of years at least in construction, so through 27, 28 and 29, so actually 2.5 years through that construction life cycle. So through the vast majority of next year, what we're going to be doing is sharing through in the early parts the findings from our environmental report that we've been conducting over this period.
Officials say every person's input will be taken into consideration for the project, and that if people are unable to attend an open house but want to provide feedback, they can visit Hydro One's website. 25 years later, still ahead on CTV News at 6. The Center of Life in downtown Sudbury is going strong. More on the milestone in a few minutes.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
The Afro Women and Youth Foundation began its 16 days of activism on gender-based violence. The international campaign kicked off today and aims to raise awareness and promote safety around gender-based violence. The next public event will be held on Zoom, where the organization will offer tools for emotional regulation, mental health resilience, and a self-care session for Sudbury's youth.
We're creating awareness. We're letting people know that we're still here. Things are still happening. Women are still experiencing violence. Many of them are not speaking up, but we have some people who are becoming courageous and bold enough to seek help, but not many of them, and that's still problematic. We need to stop stigma so that people feel supported.
Today is also the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. A special anniversary today in Sudbury for a vibrant space supporting people at every stage of life. With more on that, here's CTV's Alan Everson.
Built in 2000 on Durham Street in the heart of downtown Sudbury, the Centre for Life is celebrating 25 years. The largest tenant in the building is the YMCA.
25 years ago, this was a groundbreaking concept to bring partners together under one roof. It has been resilient, it has been relevant to the community, and it will be for the future.
HSN also has an upper section of the building where it offers a referral-based cardiac and pulmonary program. The building is also home to many programs and activities for older adults at the Parkside Older Adult Center.
In one facility, you have all the health and wellness needs addressed for people as young, from infants all the way to seniors. So it's a great facility, and we're all doing our part to make the city a little bit better.
At the celebration, Sergeant Matt Hall of the Greater Sudbury Police received a YMCA Peace Medal Award.
This is a truly great award to win. I'm very humbled and honored.
He was recognized for building relationships downtown, fostering trust and collaboration, while addressing challenges with compassion and professionalism.
We have to develop those relationships and maintain those relationships. There's a lot of work that goes into that, in maintaining relationships. And then the team I have, the 8 officers and 2 clinicians from HSN, we go out every day in the downtown core.
Officials say the anniversary is a celebration of the Centre for Life's lasting impact on the community. And moving forward, it will be key in the revitalization and revival of downtown. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Coaches Association of Ontario has released its report for 2025. The document is offering a look at the culture of sports and coaching leadership across the province. CTV's Rahim Ladani has the details.
The Hockey Hall of Fame is a showcase of excellence, which young athletes dream of achieving. But what isn't encapsulated here are often the disturbing realities shaping their lives well before they reach this level.
Before practice, they locked the door behind me and they held me down and stripped me naked.
Sharing personal stories, athletes, parents, coaches, and researchers are shedding light on the troubling state of sport culture. The latest report released by the Coaches Association of Ontario finds hazing continues to be a widespread problem. It concludes 1 in 7 athletes experience hazing between the ages of 6 to 9. That grows to 1 in 2 athletes by the time they're 19 to 24 years old.
Organizations, what are we going to do? What is our plan when a team is caught hazing? So having those sanctions in place, having a program in place and how to deal with it.
The report also found that athletes trust their coach the most outside of their parents. But there's a gap in how often coaches intervene to stop hazing. Furthermore, coaches overestimate how well they communicate with their athletes.
As a community coach myself, I have found the reports very helpful as I reflect on my own values and behaviors. I found myself thinking critically about how to stay true to those values in times of high pressure and intensity in the playing field.
Another key finding is the role of parents, often putting pressure on performance instead of participation.
Maybe even just ask them, could you give me a color to describe your emotion? 1 out of 10. Could you use an emoji to describe how you're doing? And then invite that conversation to really ask, how are you doing?
A pathway toward protecting positive sport culture in Ontario. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
Sad news from Canada's sports community. Curling legend and TV personality Colleen Jones has passed away. A 2-time world and 6-time Canadian women's champion, Jones appeared at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts 21 times and competed in the most Scotties games in the tournament's history. She was also a trailblazer in broadcasting, telling Canadian stories for almost 4 decades at the CBC. Her son posted online that Jones battled cancer for 3 years. Colleen Jones was 65. One of Canada's most decorated Olympic athletes, swimmer Penny Oleksiak, has accepted a 2-year suspension for violating anti-doping rules. The 7-time Olympic medalist, including 1 gold, committed what are known as whereabouts failures, 3 of those within a 12-month period, meaning she missed 3 mandatory drug tests. Oleksiak did not contest the violation ruling and agreed with the consequences. The 25-year-old from Toronto is now ineligible to compete from this past July through July 2027 Even though she agreed to the consequences, Alexiak still has the right to appeal. A rare Tuesday night tilt in the NOJHL and a key 2 points on the line for the teams playing. The Timmins Rock will play host to the Espanola Paper Kings. The Paper Kings need 2 points to tie the top-rated Sudbury Cubs, while the Rock need 2 points to tie the Paper Kings. Timmins has the edge as they've taken points in all 10 of their last 10 games, winning 9 of them. Puck drop is 7 p.m. at the MAC.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
An American chef has a new special for your viewing menu, and Taylor Swift is tasting success on the Billboard charts. David Daniel has those stories and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
I heard you calling on the megaphone.
Taylor Swift fans are still calling for The Fate of Ophelia. The tune from Swift's album The Life of a Showgirl is #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for a 7th straight week. It's the first song to spend its first 7 weeks atop that chart since BTS's Butter in 2021.
In this year's Lydia Celebrates America, I set out to celebrate volunteers.
Food guru Lydia Bastianich's latest special spotlights everyday Americans whose generosity and food unites communities, strengthens bonds, and enriches lives. Lydia Celebrates America, A Nation of Neighbors premieres Tuesday on PBS.
The Oilers had come up with a brand new head coach that nobody ever heard of, Bum Phillips.
Just a nickname, not a description.
The coach who gave a booming 70s Houston an NFL team worth cheering for gets a documentary. Love Ya Bum goes beyond the cowboy hat and charisma to show how his devotion to his players made him a beloved figure and changed the game. The doc debuts Tuesday on digital platforms. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Company that owns convenience stores around the world says its food business is booming. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more.
Couche-Tard, owner of stores like Circle K, says it still plans to open 500 new stores by 2028. It already owns more than 17,000 convenience stores around the world. In its latest quarter, Couche-Tard reported profits rose 4.5% year over year to more than $740 million US. Meal deal sales help push profits up. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 70.92. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 57.95. Western Canadian Select is up to 46.17. And the TSX gained almost 300 points today, ending the day at a record high of 30,900. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down 68 cents, closing the day at $41.34.11 US an ounce. Silver up 6 cents to end the day at $51.42. Copper up 4 cents to $4.89, and nickel up 15 cents, ending the day at $6.62 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Wednesday weather.
Stormy weather in some places in the Northeast, of course. Environment Canada, that winter storm warning. Now for Greater Sudbury, we've got rain in the forecast tomorrow at 4. Timmins, snow heavy at times, 10 to 20 during the day, 15 more tomorrow night, -1. Sault Ste. Marie, more rain at 3 degrees. North Bay, meanwhile, 5 degrees with more rain. Showers, drizzle, Perry Sound, and more rain in Temiskaming Shores. So wet in the south, Tony, more snow in the north for tomorrow. It's going to be one of those days. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. And finally, be prepared. It's a long-standing motto for Scouts around the world. Well, one group of BC Cub Scouts learned the importance of that motto on a weekend camping trip. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has their story.
We'll do our best.
Every week, this group of Pitt Meadow Scouts meets to practice their outdoor and navigation skills. But on a weekend camping trip at Golden Ears Park, those skills turned into real-world action when the group came across 3 stranded hikers.
A couple of the scout leaders saw the individuals on the other side of the river shouting.
Heavy rain had swelled the creek, making it impassable. So the group, which included 13 kids, moved in as close as they safely could to offer help.
What we ended up doing is coming up with some rations for from the kids, to give to the guys and just tied it to a rock. Some thermal blankets, hot paws, just whatever we had with us.
As the Scouts passed along supplies, Ridge Meadows Search and Rescue was already heading into the area.
We were able to load a team into our off-road vehicle, go up East Canyon Trail. There's a bridge crossing above where the subjects were, cross over to the west side, and then hike down to where they were.
Manager Rick Lang says they got them out safely. The hikers had set out to reach the Golden Ears Summit, a route he calls demanding, even in good weather.
They were extremely ill-prepared. Running shoes, cotton clothing, fleece pants. I believe one of them had pajama bottoms on.
After the rescue, the Scouts retreated to a tour of the Search and Rescue Command Center and headed home with some valuable lessons.
Be dressed for the weather and always bring rain gear.
Always have extra food and extra blankets.
We learned what to do when people are in danger.
In the end, the experience left the Scouts with more than just memories. It gave them a first-hand look at the power of being ready to help. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Pitt Meadows.
Well done, kids. And folks, that's CTV News at 6 on this Tuesday. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.